Hello good people, this would not be a case video without me first trying to clean up this space so we could fit a case in this office. Let's begin. Actually, I cannot show you what's behind that light. It's covering up a case that's under NDA still. A very exciting one, but that right there, the orange box, is what we're talking about today. So this, my friends, is the Cougar Conqueror. Conqueror, really? That's your name? Absolutely love how this thing looks. This is from the rear, this is from the right, and this is from the left. And there's a little bit of the orange accent that will sync up very well with my Be Quiet cooler. So up until now, I've been using the Cooler Master 6 Pro. I like the case, but it doesn't really suit my space. I think it needs a little bit more character. Also, you guys want to see something gross? Yep. Ever since building in it, I haven't even closed the side panel and all my drives are just sticking out. So instead of doing a normal case review video, I decided to put my whole system inside the Cougar Conqueror. Conqueror, still such a bad name. I'll have to rename my PC because that will not fly. And with this transition, I'm testing a new approach towards drive capacity and drive storage because I have SSD only workstation and I want to house them on the exterior of the case. So I don't want any drives inside the system. That way, if I want to replace the case, my drives are not affected because they'll be sort of placed inside its own enclosure on the exterior. So this is what's gonna make it possible to keep all my storage on the exterior, having this tiny enclosure that does not require any phantom power. You just power everything through the PC, through the motherboard. So I'm excited. This alongside the Conqueror. Let's begin right after this. What?
Is that the View 31? You should put a ring on it.
Yes, time to make it RGB official. Thermaltake Ring high static pressure fans because your case deserves a ring. Full details in the description below. Where's all the glass? It has no glass. Oh, it's in pieces. What? Okay, I unboxed it from the wrong side, damn it. And of course, you always gotta include a catalog. So here are all the parts. One thing I'm surprised about is the tempered glass side panel is actually part of the frame. It's not just there as a visual thing. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing on the right side of the case. That is being occupied by the side panel, tempered glass side panel. I like the combination of aluminum and of course tempered glass. Feels very nice and premium. So we have 3 fan grills, 3 of these quite ugly fans, these support beams, a power supply bracket, these 2 case feet, which are also aluminum, a little bit of accessories, a drive bracket, and this little mesh thing. I'm not exactly sure what that's for. So unfortunately, one of these support beams doesn't have the end tip, something that you screw on here to hold the glass, while the other second one does. As you can see, there's the little cap to screw on, and this one is missing it. So not sure how that will impact assembly. But not exactly a happy discovery for a $300 case. And while we're renting a little bit, so the Cougar text on both side panels is way too large on the side. I dislike it. The case is so beautiful. Why do you have to ruin it with such large logos on the side? The instructions manual is it's okay. It's clear and you can sort of see what to do. But you know, we have something like this on $40 cases, not $300 cases. And finally, the side panels, it seems like there's some film residue. I would prefer a simple film that I peel myself and not something like this that's been left over from I don't know what. So this whole unboxing experience just doesn't align for the asking price. I do like the orange accents. They're vibrant but not like over the top, and also black cables from the I/O, so that's appreciated. For very exposed chassis like this, it is very needed. And so this open format in general is used for showcase PC builds, and I think Cougar have done such a fantastic job with this transformer type look that is not boring, using high quality aluminum panels and cutouts throughout the entire case that fit with the character. And now I understand where the Conqueror name comes from, since the top and front plates have this mask look that complements the angular frame. I don't like the golden logo at the front, and I don't like how the aluminum is not treated with anything, so your fingerprints get all over, and Cougar should have sandblasted these panels for a better effect. Since the glass panels are part of the support structure, without them installed, the frame does wobble and bend at the feet, so tightening the mounting points is recommended. I appreciate the toolless nature of these beams though. They are large enough to screw in by hands and can even be used to carry the case. The glass mount is sturdy using the end tips on each beam, but there are no support pegs to hold the glass in place. Instead, you have to hold the glass near each point and secure manually. That leads to a lot of fingerprints all over. But the good thing is you can still get in with a microfiber cloth to wipe it because there's a lot of room between the frame. And as you can see, the glass is not tinted and it's shaped accordingly to match the design, and the Cougar text on the side is actually slightly muted to be less visible. Of course, because of the fully open nature of the frame, take into account dust and other elements in your surroundings before taking the plunge, and also be prepared to do your best cable management job ever, as otherwise the right side panel will expose your weak spot. The I/O is at the top with black sleeved cables. There are 7 PCI slots without the covers included, and I wish that the orange accident piece on the side was removable so I could maybe remove it and repaint it, but instead it's riveted. And for a case of so few parts, it should be fully deconstructible, which unfortunately it is not. The power supply plate and the mount has 3 positions to accommodate 4 larger units. There are no additional pieces at the back, so cable management should be fun, and your motherboard is mounted in about a 45-degree angle that should incentivize creative ways to route your tubing for water cooling. And that's exactly what this case is designed for, having triple 120mm fan mounts at the top that is accessible with this opening panel. It's a good design, but the top panel is not 100% refined in that it's very tight and causes the rubber inserts on the sides to move, and it's very annoying to reinstall. The front panel is straightforward though, with 6 screws that are accessible through the front cutouts, and we have dual 120mm fan mounts here, so in total you can do 5 fans inside the Conqueror. And for storage, you can mount dual SSDs or a single 3.5-inch drive on this bracket that is in a very awkward position in front of your motherboard above the power supply.
It looks like my original plan of mounting my workstation PC in there and going full air cooling inside the Cougar Conquer is not going to exactly work because the case is so open, and because the motherboard mount is slanted with the CPU tower, it's just not going to look good at all. And so I'm going to mount my Skylight gaming machine in there instead with an AIO. Also, I'm happy to report that with both side panels installed, the case is no longer bendy at those feet positions, because there's only a single point of contact between the feet and the frame, but with the glass it kind of secures the whole structure in place, both on this side and on the back.
So this case is clearly not for air cooling and not for AIO solutions either, but for water cooling. So how does it stack up? Up top you can fit up to a 360 radiator with 60mm thickness supported, and EK provided us with some radiators to test for compatibility. If your 360 rad is wider than 12 centimeters, then you must install the fans first, as otherwise the front IO PCB is on the way, and Cougar certainly could have improved this area for more friendly water cooling. For one, the top support beam basically touches the radiator and you have no wiggle room for flexible mounting, and since the orange piece is non-removable, sliding in your radiator with fans is more difficult than it should be. With my 40mm thick rad, push-pull is fine clearance-wise away from the DIMM slots, but it does cover a little bit of the motherboard, and since this being strictly targeted for like a showcase water cooling piece, Cougar should have opened up this area for easier mounting. And since I'm not doing a custom water loop, I decided to show you guys what cable management is like in such an unusual scenario with the power supply at the front, almost like an engine for your build. So the cable exit is totally exposed. A plastic shroud would have cleaned this up, but underneath the motherboard you can route IO cables just fine without them showing up. I sleeved my AIO tubing with cable mod to match the rest of the sleeve cables and to highlight how tubing pops out in such a scenario. And because the motherboard is angled, you can play around with tubing either following the same orientation or sticking to curves, and there's also a large area beside the motherboard for a tube reservoir. I'm pretty happy with my cable management since there are no rubber grommets and no plastic covers to hide your stuff, and so you can use sleeving to bunch up your cables and at least group them by area and where they're exiting. So Cougar does include a few adhesive clips to help you to tidy things up, but the main hurdle is with that main cable exit at the front, and I have no idea how to hide it unless you have a 3D printer and you can print yourself a cover. So they clearly leave this up to your imagination, but for me it feels incomplete as you get a good frame, but the little details to help you with wiring are missing. And finally, powering up the system, it's encouraged to light up your hardware in some way, but then this orange side piece can be seen as a limiting factor in your color combination. So let me know what you think of the orange and if this would be your color of choice for an open system build.
Oh hey there, ncix.com is Canada's leading e-tailer for anything your mind desires. Just keep within those categories, which are plenty, and get tempted by the weekly deals. Visit ncix.com for all them sweet deals.
And so despite the very cool looks of the Conqueror, this is one of the most unique open style tempered glass and aluminum enclosures that we've ever taken a look at, it's not exactly for me. Even if I was water cooling, I feel like Cougar kind of missed the mark on making sure that water cooling is user-friendly in terms of radiator installation at the top. I don't know why that orange piece is non-removable, it's simply on the way, and installing things at the front is also kind of challenging in terms of radiator, and especially if you have that SSD bracket installed in the center, then accessing everything inside becomes a lot more challenging than it has to be because everything is open, yet feels very cramped in, especially when trying to mount radiator. In terms of cable management, I understand that a lot of enthusiasts who deal with open style cases like it would want to go in and tinker with each individual cable and how it's routed themselves. So, that's why it's like an open plate for you. But I feel like Cougar has missed the mark in making sure that it's more user-friendly on cable side as well, because it's completely open and it requires a lot more work that you have to put in. So not just for installation of your water cooling, but really have to put in the time for cable management as well. So yeah, let me know what you think of the Cougar Conquer, and would you gravitate towards something like it if you were to do an open showcase water cooling system? I know I haven't used this in this video because I'm not going to be using the Conqueror for my workstation PC, but the external drive enclosure will have to wait for another case. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to check out all these other relevant videos, and we'll see you in the next video, and make sure to, of course, subscribe.